Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so welcome back. We are now in game number 2 of this best of 3 series between ORGE Esports and qTm, sort of the troll trademark esports team, whatever you want to call them. I'm not sure exactly how to coin this team over here, as I have absolutely no idea about their real identities. They have only the games played for this tournament on their accounts, so who knows? The sky's the limit. qTm could be literally anyone. Game number 1 in this series was a very convincing win for ORGE Esports, though. A 17-minute concede, I do believe. Of course, there were a couple of lag issues on the live stream, so of course the VOD should have turned out fine. Again, it was my mistake. It was uploading to the incorrect Twitch server. So should be all set here. Looking good on my end as far as frame drops and whatnot. Maybe let's go ahead and press the old F5 if you're still having issues. Anyhow, getting straight into this game here could very well be the last game of the day, as odd as that is to say here, as we haven't been online for too long, but just a quick best of 3 series and giving that convincing win in game number 1. qTm is going to have to really switch up that strategy. They did go with a pretty straightforward draft. They did pick that Kraken, and although I said Kraken was kind of the strange wild card that they had, Kraken ended up being kind of their one saving grace, their one hero that was able to farm reasonably well in that game. Unfortunately, he didn't really go on long enough for any of that farm to shine, but still it was really looking good for him. So I'll be curious to see if they try to mix Kraken in again or if they go with a completely different route. We shall see. So let's go ahead and take a look at the bans here, of course. Still having some sort of a graphics bug. Probably should have reset my client in between these games. But alas, all of the locks have gone out despite there being 2 empty slots there. Magebane and Pharaoh still locked in place. I really don't know why they are stuck there on my banning pick. Anyhow, blind ban's going to be the exact same as they were in the first game. Tempest and Keeper of the Forest coming out here for ORGE Esports, and Wild Soul and Ophelia for qTm. So not much to say about those. I guess both teams are pretty hell-bent against the heroes they don't want to play against, and that has happened before junglers. So again, very unlikely we're going to see a jungler in this game unless someone really wants to pick up that Legionnaire, which would be interesting, though not something I think we have a high chance of seeing. Going straight along, though, we have the locks. Forsaken Archer, Meraxus, Glacius, Magmus, Bubbles, and Scout going to be the heroes picked up for the locking phase. And kind of an interesting mix. Always interesting to see Scout in that locked pool. We did see TT Esports not that long ago work Scout into quite a few of their different strategies, and that's something that Slicks has been doing quite a bit recently, throwing Scout into that locked pool. So it should be very interesting. I'll be curious to see if either of these teams actually pick Scout or if he's just kind of one of those throwaway picks. And that makes me think that he may be in this situation just because the other 5 heroes are all very, very powerful. There isn't really a 6th one that jumps out at me as, yeah, they're probably not going to want to mix X into their lineup. All of the others definitely look very powerful indeed. The banning phase has completed as well. We can go ahead and go over those very quickly as well. Plague Rider, Aluna, Jeraziah, Polywog Priest, Tundra, and Silhouette going to be the heroes picked up, or pardon me, not picked up in this game as they are banned. And again, oh gosh. Again, really not too much jumping out at me as far as interesting bans. You know, seeing the Jeraziah ban, seeing as pardon me, Electrician is still on the board. Sort of interesting as well. Again, that sort of difference in metagame. I think ORGE Esports is a little bit more accustomed to playing against teams that like to mix Jeraziah in a little bit more frequently. So that is the one that kind of jumps out. Of course, Qualfmador here, or Kraufmador, however you want to say his name. Banning Silhouette to finish things off, not too surprising, seeing how that last game unfolded. Picks underway. ORGE Esports is going to start things off with a Pebbles pickup, and I love what qTm does here. I'm going to go ahead and grab Nymphora Armadon, recognizing that Nymphora is still on the board. They don't want to just hand over the Pebbles-Nymphora duo to ORGE Esports. So they're going to go ahead and pick up Nymphora themselves, and they're going to pair her up with an Armadon, and that is one of the 2 dual lanes with Nymphora that I consider to be particularly potent. Nymphora Pebbles or Nymphora Armadon, both of them are so powerful. We'll see. Certainly a good lane combo. Sorry, I did have reading something on the other monitor. I can't speak and read at the same time, it would seem. So anyhow, Pebble's going to be that first pick, followed by Master of Arms. You see Orange Esports taking their time here, trying to figure out exactly what avenue they want to take with this last pick. And I have absolutely no idea where they're going to go. So many options. Seeing Master of Arms picked up is definitely a little bit strange. He's definitely a hero we don't see too often. Very, very difficult to play. And he has the tendency to really fall off very quickly. If he gets a good start, he certainly can carry and transition very nicely into that mid to late game. But it seems he struggles a little bit in the early game, especially if he gets shut down. If they make an effort to punish him a little bit, recognize that he lacks the escape mechanisms, they may be able to take him down a little bit. Behemoth going to be picked up here, and I really like this. I have a feeling they're either going to tri-lane or pair up the Behemoth Master of Arms together, and I really like that. Pairing Behemoth with a hero like Master of Arms who can be locked down makes that lane so much more versatile and makes it much easier to defend with that fissure to block out melee and ranged heroes as they try and chase down for kills, and it also gives them that aggressive potential to try and set stuff up, which synergizes very nicely with the stuns and disables that Master of Arms can put out. Very well could tri-lane, though. It really depends on which heroes they take from these this last pool here, and at that rate as well, who are they going to tri-lane? They could tri-lane with Pebbles as the primary farming recipient, or Master of Arms being the primary farmer. A lot of options on the table for Orange Esports. Certainly the sign of a good draft. qTm here, although I really like what they did to start things off with their picks, they don't have quite as many options with their picks now. They do have one lane kind of set in stone, and they're going to go ahead and pick up Cthulhu. Very, very interesting. I did note in that last game, Cthulhu was sort of an interesting band that stood out at me, because we haven't been seeing him picked up so much recently at all, really. The little bit of casting I've been doing on the Garena client, haven't seen too much Cthulhu over there either. So seeing him in this game should be interesting. Looks like qTm is going to be going for much more of a tank meta-oriented kind of style here, and we'll see what they do with these last picks. We can scroll up and see who's left in the locking pool. And they are going to go the Meraxis route. That's exactly what I was just going to suggest. Are they going to go like a Meraxis Glacius here and have two very, very tanky lanes with a Suicide Cthulhu? That could be very, very difficult to deal with. All three of these tanky heroes are ones that I would categorize as just hard to deal with. You don't ban them because there's a high probability of them taking over the game. You ban them because it's simply difficult to shut them down. And I think Orange Esports is going to run up against that in this game. Talk about a roster to counter Pebbles right here. What is Pebbles going to be able to do? Once those Mystic Vestments come out, he is going to have such a difficult time picking up kills early on. We're going to see almost more of a support Pebbles here, more so than anything else, I think, because he's only going to be able to pick on this Nymphora Glacius, and as long as Nymphora and Glacius stay positioned appropriately and stay behind their tanks, Pebbles is going to find himself in a very, very difficult position. So with that Bubbles pick, of course, he is going to be a solo hero, and I'm not sure how they're going to lane this. It very well could be a solo Master of Arms with a tri-lane here for Forsaken Archer. A lot of different options. And I'm going to be very curious to see what Orange Esports opts to do. Really, really difficult to predict. Hopefully we don't have a pause. We can just have our curiosity satisfied. And oh, rats, qTm going to be the pausers this time. And we'll see what they do. What's interesting from the qTm perspective, though, is how are they going to lane this as well? We can see what duos they're going to do, but what lanes are they going to position these? Are they going to put Q-Freak on Cthulhu here in the close lane to pick up a little bit of farm, have that bit of lane control, or are they going to throw him in the suicide lane? I have a feeling they're going to put him in the close lane. But more and more teams now are opting to put that really strong lane in the close lane as well. And in this situation, they really do have two strong lanes. Whether it's Glacius Meraxis or Nymphora Armadon, they can really dominate that close lane if they opt to, so they have some options as well. And if Orange Esports is thinking about a tri-lane here, they're going to be very, very mindful of this positioning. Against the tri-lane, they really don't want to go up against Cthulhu. That's really not what they want to do here, so it's going to be a little bit of a guessing game as far as what Orange Esports wants to do. They're going to be trying to pair that Cthulhu up against one of their solo laners. If they do the tri-lane, probably going to be hoping for Bubbles, so they can shut down some farm and still farm very nicely with this tri-lane here. So the inevitable pause, but there is that ready. Are you ready to go, good sir? Wang Wang's going to give them the thumbs up, and they're going to go straight into it. I just do want to report, it looks like the lag issues have been solved so far, and to reiterate for those of you retuning in, I do apologize for the lag issues that we were having. It was a simple mistake of settings. We did change account information, so I just failed on updating one of the settings. Again, my apologies, but I am mostly glad to see that it is fixed right now. ORGE Esports, of course, did win game number 1 in a very convincing manner, so if you're just now tuning in or just checking out this VOD ahead of game number 1, ORGE Esports is leading 1-0 in this best of 3 series here in the round of 128 in the DreamHoN Summer Championships. So here we are, the tri-lane is underway, so not going to be exactly what I first predicted, but a tri-lane of sorts. It is going to be Behemoth, Master of Arms, and Forsaken Archer going up against the Armadon in M4 lane, and this is going to be exactly what ORGE Esports wants. They want to go up against one of these very difficult lanes with their tri-lane, and that's going to be their golden ticket to dealing with it effectively, shutting down all this Armadon's farm, and just shutting down the potency of this lane combo in general. Really like this play. Meraxes is kind of hovering around the mid lane, and right now it's Cthulhuphant Glacius down in the bottom with a solo Meraxes in the mid, so perhaps even the Hellborn side, who I thought had pretty surefire lanes, are going to rotate things around a little bit. And we'll see how they fare in that way as well. Bubble's going to be the one down here in the bottom lane in the hands of a Mr. Handle-A-Baby. He had a hell of a game on Meraxes last match, and we'll see how he does on Bubbles here. Going to have a little bit of a difficult time against this Cthulhuphant with a hatchet, but still should be able to avoid death at least. And in any 2v1 laning situation, that is the golden ticket. In the mid lane, it will be a solo Pebbles going head-to-head against a solo Meraxes. And I have to think that this is going to favor ORGE Esports a little bit. You have to think Wang Wang is going to have a pretty damn good time here against QKid in the mid lane. Both of them have hatchets, and Pebble's going to have a slightly better time last hitting. Huge base damage improvement here over a Mr. Meraxes, despite both of them having a hatchet. Meraxes going with the Iron Buckler. Unfortunately, not going to be the greatest choice here. Going to be a bit of a sunk cost to start things off in this early game. He is not going to have any harassment coming his way. So kind of unfortunate that he went that avenue to start things off. Up in the top lane, though, Armadon off to a hell of a rocky start, getting almost bursted down right away in this tri-lane, working very much so in favor of ORGE Esports. I think qTm may want to consider rotating these lanes a little bit. They really need to take advantage of this bottom lane. Their Cthulhuphant, who really should be managed that sacrificial lamb, is going to be the one that has the easiest time farming here. I wouldn't be surprised to see them just rotate the Armadon in 4 lane with that Cthulhuphant. He's going to be able to suicide up here, maybe get a little bit of experience, deny the lane with that Hookem to get a little bit of the lane control back, or at least try to deny some of that farm for Forsaken Archer, and for the rest of it, for all intents and purposes, just sacrifice this lane. Instead, with Armadon up here, he's just going to be an underfarmed, tubby little guy here. He's not going to be doing a hell of a lot. Very, very unfortunate. Cthulhuphant not going to be doing nearly as much with that farm as Armadon could be if he were in the bottom lane, but also all of that farm that Cthulhuphant could be denying with Hookem is not going to be capitalized on, and I think that's really one of the big things to focus on. Also important to note, Bubbles is out farming Cthulhuphant down here by a huge margin, sitting 7-2 against the 1-2 Cthulhuphant, and to be perfectly frank, I think this Cthulhuphant should be doing much better right here. He has a hatchet, so that should help very much so against the relatively low base damage of this Bubbles early on. And he also has the Stout Shield, or the Iron Buckler, if you will, and that should really limit what Bubbles can do as far as harassing him down. And I think this Cthulhuphant just not handling himself quite properly. See, in the mid lane here, Qualfador going to be in big trouble. He's going to try to use the potion, but he's going to go down. Beautiful block from Behemoth will be enough to secure that kill. So the Bloodlust going to come out in favor of Mr. Ghost on that Master of Arms. So that tri-lane going to continue to be successful here. Looking very, very nice indeed. Across the board, ORGE Esports off to a fantastic start. Everyone farming in very, very stylish fashion here as they're all hovering around that 250 GPM mark here. Meraxes the only one above 200 GPM for the Hellborn side. The tri-lane getting a bit aggressive here though. Master of Arms leading the way. Mr. Ghost ain't afraid of no ghost here as he's going to try and set something up on an M4. She's going to be able to get away, but Armadon may get caught. Nope, not going to go for it. Although Shuyu did have a fissure, they opted not to go for it. Forsaken Archer, though, I mean, XXF really couldn't be asking for much more out of this lane. He is sitting 14-5. That is exactly where he wants to be. He is in absolutely great shape. So very, very good news for him. I think you can call this tri-lane a victory for ORGE Esports Malaysia here, at least to start things off, and that is very good news. In the mid lane, let's see how Pebbles is farming. He is sitting 12-4, so he's farming very nicely as well. He's going to get engaged on here, though, so he needs to be a little bit careful. The slow from Glacier is going to come out, and Pebbles very well may fall here. He's going to try and micro into the trees, and he may be able to survive this. Meraxes is not going to have enough for another axe, It is going to come up, but he's not going to be able to do it. Pebbles barely going to be able to survive, so a bit of a missed opportunity there for qTm. Very unfortunate indeed. Securing that kill on Pebbles would have secured them a victory in the mid lane, but alas, Pebbles is going to hold his own. All the while in the tri-lane at the top, we're going to see Armadon get engaged on here, trying to path block him as best they can. XXF going to be the one to pick up the kill. Very nicely done by Orange Esports. Handled that situation perfectly to take down the spiky Armadillo. Very, very nicely executed, as I mentioned. So Orange Esports continuing their domination here. As I said, the top lane is definitely one. I think we can call this bottom lane a victory for the Legion side as well. Cthulhu sitting 12-2, while this Bubbles is sitting 20-10. So Handle a Baby continuing his domination streak down here as well. Beautifully placed. Behemoth Fissure is going to keep Master of Arms alive there. Also going to open up that opportunity for Wang Wang to come in and finish off Qualfmador, as he does pick him off with the combo. So now Pebbles sitting 1-0-1. Going to be able to go toe-to-toe with QKid here and continue farming away in the mid lane. Pebbles sitting 14-4, while Meraxis is 16-0. So even though Pebbles has been going heads up in a 2v1 lane, he's still able to hold his own. And he's still actually in a pretty damn good position. He's farming, well, reasonably nicely, at least. Much better than he should be in this kind of a scenario. Looks like some rotation is going to come here. Armadon going to go down to the bottom lane to try and go toe-to-toe with Bubbles, but he's going to be in big trouble. Oh my gosh. Queen Meander going to go down. So unfortunate. That's the problem when you wait that long to rotate those lanes. I thought this was, I think this is a good idea, but it's just too late. Handle a Baby is already just a little bit too farmed. He is now level 6. Armadon is only level 4, and that is just not going to fly. We saw how much damage Bubbles did after he connected with that Shell Surf. And there's nothing Armadon can do about it. Bubbles is just too far ahead of him. They needed to rotate that lane much earlier on, and they needed to take the Nymphora with them as well. Armadon is not nearly as farmed as he should be, and he is not going to be able to stay solo very long, nor will Nymphora. She is only level 2. If she gets caught by a fissure here, as Shuyu is just waiting to line up, it is going to be very, very difficult for Nymphora to really do anything constructive in this lane. Certainly going to be difficult for her to survive. The tri-lane has now broken up, though. Master of Arms is going to head to the mid lane to try and support this Pebbles a little bit, and I think that is the smart choice, given that Pebbles should be struggling a bit in this lane. Having Mr. Ghost on that Master of Arms will help continue his farm and also allow Master of Arms to continue his farm as well, as he is sitting 1-0-2. Certainly in a great position in this match. In the bottom lane, Armadon continuing to struggle against Mr. Bubbles, and it is just incredible to see Handle a Baby having such a good time down here in this game. Oh my gosh, Master of Arms going to come down. He does have an Illusion Rune path blocking this Armadon very, very nicely. The Kelp Field going to come out, and although they are hitting him from the back, it doesn't matter. Plenty of damage to take him down. Handle a Baby going to be the one to pick up the kill onto Queen Meander. And this bottom lane is just a massacre. A massacre all around, really. 5-0, only 6.5 minutes in. An extreme gold lead here for our Legion side already. It's looking like Orange Esports may be able to take a nice 2-0 series here in the round of 128. Certainly good news for them, though. Very unfortunate for qTm. Their run in this tournament may be over a bit more prematurely than they were really looking for. Looking at difference in inventories here, really not too much of a disparity, to be perfectly frank. Not as much as you would think, given the big gold difference, but I think we're going to see that huge difference in boots really come into play in the upcoming moments, as we see everyone on Orange Esports pick up those upgraded boots, and most of the members of qTm struggle to pick up just those humble Tier 1 boots. Down here in the bottom lane, Handle a Baby going to be in a little bit of a sticky situation, but we'll be able to Shell Surf on out of there. So unfortunately, despite it being a 3v1 scenario, qTm just not going to execute properly and not going to be able to secure that kill, so very unfortunate there indeed. Up in the top lane, looks like Quender may go down after that Behemoth Fissure comes out to set it up. XXF going to be able to set it up, and he's going to pick up his second kill of the game. Now sitting 2-0-0, continuing his free farming reign at the top lane, now well above that 350 GPM mark. Some action going to be fall. The Hellborn side down in the bottom lane. Ooh, a bit of a misplay from Wang Wang there. Actually going to miss with the combo. And big man up from Q-Freak to finish off Handle a Baby, but he's going to fall on. Whoa, the biggest soldier of the game right there. Actually going to path block him and end up for a very easy kill there for Wang Wang. Going to be able to throw the chuck onto Queen Meander, and he'll be able to pick up a double tap reasonably easy there as well. So nice heads up play from Mr. Pebbles. Wang Wang going to be able to walk away the victor. Unfortunately, Handle a Baby not going to be quite so lucky, but still a 2-for-1 exchange nonetheless. Going to go vastly in favor of Orange Esports Malaysia. Double damage rune going to come out in favor of a Mr. Pebbles here. He's going to be able to pick up as it spawned at that 8-minute mark. And we are going to see him Pop it, sip up that bottle a little bit, and go straight on to Meraxes here. qKid not even going to have time to pop the ultimate to have a chance at surviving that duo. Pebble's just going to finish him off with a punch to the face of that double damage. It's very unfortunate indeed. Looks like we're going to have a premature GG come out here. GG, Queen through the game. It was a pleasure. Good luck in the rest of the tournament. Rage quit from QFreak. So, looks like ORGE Esports Malaysia is going to be able to do it. This may be the first time in a competitive game I have seen a team tap out before, well, this early on at least. We've seen teams tap out before the 15-minute mark, but I think the 8:30 mark may be a bit of a record here. And they are going to have to continue on without a Mr. QFreak. That is Cthulhu. They are going to still use the hero, though, as he comes in and maybe setting up a kill onto Wang Wang. One of those axes is going to connect. That second axe will act. Oh my gosh, that second axe will connect as well. qKid going to be able to pick up that kill onto Wang Wang to end the Ultimate Warrior streak. So they do utilize the disconnected Cthulhu font to secure a kill, but unfortunately, I think the end is here. Queen Meander now going to tap out as XXF pushes the tower in the top lane. We see some initiation here. qKid going to get engaged on. We'll try to turn around with a Quake. Mr. Ghost going to take a good bit of damage, but I don't think they're going to have enough to finish him off. Pebbles is back, pardon me. He is going to go with the Chuck, but not going to connect with the Stalagmite. So Wang Wang with back-to-back small Stalagmites plays in this game. Luckily for him, though, it is not going to matter. The Shell Serve looking for Meraxes, not going to connect, but there's the Chuck, and that'll be enough to finish him off. Handle a Baby going to be the one to finish off qKid with that one last auto attack. Looks like we're going to have another 5 minutes here or so before the concede vote can come out. 5 minutes of just sheer domination. Mr. Ghost going to come in and pick up that kill with his forked lightning there. GG well played from Quender, as well as Handle a Baby. And sorry, sideways face. Look at the manners, though. GG well played all along. At least qTm had a smile on their face. They were a pleasure throughout this entire series, sending words of encouragement throughout the lobby, the mid-game, and those moments when they have to concede. Always nice to see teams with smiles on their faces, recognizing that it's an open event. They had a good time, gave it their all, but unfortunately, just unfortunate that they don't fare so well against these world-class teams like ORGE Esports Malaysia. Certainly can understand that, as ORGE Esports is a top-notch team, and certainly demonstrating why that is so. Interesting thought here from Quender. What time is it there? 4 a.m. Indeed, they are 12 hours ahead of us over here on the East Coast. So they start playing this tournament at 3 a.m. every single day, or at least until they are eliminated. So ORGE Esports, as well as the other Southeast Asian teams, MUFC, as well as Impunity, probably not so excited about the scheduling of this event, but they're participating nonetheless. You have to compliment them at least a little bit on their dedication to participate despite the very, very awkward hours on back-to-back nights. They're going to continue the domination as they pick up some kills around the map. Nymphora going to meet a very similar fate here. She's going to go toe-to-toe. And, oh, they may even let her survive. That's so nice, Mr. Ghost, the nice guy that he is. Not feeling too nice, though. Wang Wang actually going to chuck him in there, pound Nymphora in the face. Very unfortunate indeed. So, I think that's going to do it, though, guys. Of course, 3 members disconnected, just 3 minutes from the concede, and we will see this game end. So, thank you for enjoying. I do apologize once again for the lag issues in game number 1. Really only had 2 games today. The format of this tournament is 1 best of 3 each day over a series of 40 days. Today, we are in the round of 128 with just a humble best of 3. ORGE Esports facing off against Trademark Q Sports. Coming up tomorrow at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2100 CET as well, will be the round of 64 before we move into stage 2 of this tournament. Should be a hell of a time. I will be here casting. I should be casting the rest of this tournament on the DreamHoN SEA channel as the primary caster. We'll be mixing in co-casters throughout this event. It was just recently established that I'll be the one doing it, so just wanted to get our feet wet today, at least start bringing you guys some coverage of the SEA teams, and that's going to be the 3 teams, again, are ORGE Esports, Impunity, and MUFC. Those are going to be the 3 teams that I will be focusing on throughout the DreamHoN Summer Championships. Once again, Trademark Q Sports is not TDM, just a troll team whose run will stop here in the round of 128. So I do want to thank you guys for joining us. Again, a very, very short cast today. If you haven't seen the DreamHoN Summer Championship schedule, it is available on summer.dreamhon.com. It also is cataloged on ZyoriTV/calendar. If you head over there right now, you can see the streams listed, providing coverage, and well, easy access to finding embedded links to those as well. Of course, I'm Zyori, doing some casting for Garena. You can find me at Zyori.tv, Twitter, and Facebook at ZyoriTV as well. So the onslaught continues. We see heroes getting eliminated here as ORGE Sports forced to stay into the last moments of the game. So we say tunnel vision on a Mr. Wang Wang on Pebbles, having a hell of a game for you guys. But that does wrap it up. These VODs will be on YouTube as well. They will be on my channel, at least as of now. That's where they're going to be. Going to upload these even though they were quick games. If you missed game number 1 and you're curious, you can check out the VOD, and the VOD should be lag-free. Again, I do apologize for that bit of issue, and should be cured at this point forward. But until tomorrow, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll see you guys in another cast.